If you are seeing this video, I already know that you are on the path of evolution and growth and honestly in the journey of becoming the best version of yourself. That's not what this video is about. This video is about a check-in. It's a check-in from yourself to keep going. And in order to keep going, we're going to talk about a game plan. First things first, in this check-in is a reminder to detach from who you thought you needed to be, from the limitations that you were placing on yourself. So let's just say you were this version of yourself that aimed to people please in order to stay comfortable in certain situations and groups, whatever the case may be. So this is just a check-in and a reminder from yourself to stay detached from who you thought you needed to be in order to stay comfortable in those situations or those places or with those people. Because the version of you now is not someone who people pleases, is not someone who goes back to those old habits just to feel comfortable. So that's the first check-in. Do you feel like you are detached from who you thought you needed to be in order to stay comfortable in the limitations you placed on yourself? That's a really important first question to ask yourself in this game plan check-in. There are moments where I catch myself creeping back into the old habit, the old way of thinking, and I literally have to detach and say, no, that's someone you used to be. You used to do things like that, but now you are doing these things and you feel good in doing these things, and you're going to continue to do these things because you form the habit. And just because you may have an off day or an off week or an off moment, it does not mean that you have to creep into those old ways or old habits just to make yourself feel comfortable. That's the first thing when it comes to this check-in. So detach. The next one is divide. When it comes to the dividing part of this check-in, what aspects of yourself are you choosing to focus in on right now? Because when you look at yourself as a whole, there are so many different parts to ourselves, and there's so many different parts to our lives. So when it comes to this divide part, it's really knowing what you are choosing to zone in on and what you are choosing to really focus in on. Because there are so many different parts to ourselves and to our lives. And when we're getting into that mode and we're in this journey, it's important to really know and decide what you are choosing to focus in on. Because if you're in this journey, you're like, I'm becoming the best version of myself, for sure. But what parts, what aspects of your life are you really choosing to zone in on? That's the divide part. So just to break down the check-in so far, we've detached. We are detaching from who we thought we needed to be in order to be comfortable in the limitations we may have placed ourselves in, which we are no longer doing. Now we're in divide, which is choosing to zone in on certain aspects of our lives that we are choosing to really focus in on in this journey. So for you, it could be your workout journey or what you're choosing to eat or a project that you're working on or reading a book once a month or whatever it is. We all have different things going on within our lives. I know my things I've divided and I know which things I'm really focusing in on right now in order to see major growth in those areas. And then bringing it into the last part, it is to conquer. Detach, divide, and conquer. This is the game plan in order for us to check in with ourselves, send a reminder from ourselves to ourselves, and to continue on in this journey of being the best version of ourselves. So when it comes to the conquer part, this is broken up into many different parts. So the first part of conquering is to challenge things that are the norm. So for an example, when it comes to challenging things that are the norm, let's just say in your family, everyone has been a lawyer. Your grandpa, your dad, his cousin, his uncle, your uncle, everyone in your family is a lawyer, and then they expect you to become a lawyer. But you know deep down that your calling is to be an artist. Like, you love to paint, you love to be creative with your work in a different way. And so in order to follow that call and detach from who you thought you needed to be in order to feel comfortable within your life and to please others, and divide and really focus in on the aspects of yourself that you want to love on in order to become the best version of yourself. When it comes to the conquering part, you need to be able to challenge things that are the norm. So maybe the norm in your family was to go to this certain school and do this certain program, blase, blase. Challenging the norm would be putting your foot down and saying, no, actually, this is something I want to do because this is what I see for my life and this is my calling. So when it comes to conquering, you have to be comfortable with putting your foot down and challenging things that are the norm. Because when you are growing into the best version of yourself, we're beginning to understand ourselves more, right? And so this means doing different things than maybe our friends or our family or in our workplace. But the thing is, You are always going to be a little bit different in every single situation you find yourself in. And to live your life truly authentic as yourself, you need to become comfortable with challenging things that are the norm. So there's so many different things where this can be applicable, but where in your life do you feel like you feel called to challenge things that are the norm? Like maybe it's the norm in your friend group to do this certain thing, but you really feel called to do something different. Do it. Because when it comes to becoming the best version of ourselves, it's owning who we are in every unique aspect. Understanding yourself is a huge essential part to becoming the best version of yourself, because when you really get to know yourself, you know which areas you feel called to, and you're able to grow and cultivate in those areas because it comes from something natural within, just being who you are, just being authentic. So first things first when it comes to conquering is to challenge things that are the norm if they don't suit you and what you desire. No settling. No settling just to feel comfortable. No settling just to fit in. It's just a no. The second thing when it comes to conquering is to take every challenge in your life and to alchemize it. Because throughout this time when you conquer and you're becoming the best version of yourself, there's going to be moments where you have challenges, right? You're going to come across things you've never come across. You're going to be doing things for the first time you've never done before, or you're simply just going to be standing on business and having to say no to things, or saying yes to something that's new and feeling a bit scared, whatever the case may be. Take that challenge and alchemize it always. You know, maybe you recently got out of a relationship. Maybe you recently lost a friend you love. There's so many different situations that happen in our lives where there's a challenge, but with this challenge, you can always alchemize it no matter what. No matter what, you can turn something that is a challenge and feels negative and difficult into something that blossoms good and a realization that you needed and something that shifts your perspective for the better. There was always a silver lining. I just got reminded of the movie. It's called Silver Linings Playbook. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It's a good movie. Anyway, there is always a silver lining, and not to be all toxic positivity on here, because I think that you also deserve to feel your emotions and feel sad about it and release that emotion. But then once it's all said and done and you feel like you released the hurt and the pain, there is always a way to alchemize it and turn it into something that benefits you. Always. Going into the third part of conquering, it's when you say you want to do something or when you say you were going to do something, you do it. And this doesn't just go for yourself, like, oh, I said I'm going to work out, the next day you work out. This goes for other people that you interact with too. You said that you were going to reach out to them. Reach out to them. Even if it's not the response that maybe they're hoping for or maybe you were hoping for, still reach out to them. Say what you say you're going to do. Because when it comes to this, it's like, the way you treat other people in this aspect, when you say you're going to do something or you say you're going to do that, you say you're going to reach out, you say you're going to do this and get back to them, this goes into how you treat yourself as well. Because if you aren't doing that for other people, like if you're not following through with what you say for other people, then chances are maybe you don't do the same thing with yourself. In some aspects of life, the way you do one thing is how you do many other things. Don't let it be a habit. Don't let you saying, oh, I'm going to do this and then never doing it become a habit. Just don't. And if it is something that you have done for a large majority of your life, no worries. That's the beautiful thing about life. You can literally wake up the next day and start to make different choices. And yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable. Maybe it's going to be super new and maybe it's going to feel like a bother. But when it comes to doing the things you say you're going to do, it's great to start that habit with other people, with other situations, with other whatever. So you're able to also do it for yourself and the people you love in your atmosphere. And just for doing the things you say you want to do in this life, just overall. The next thing when it comes to conquering is to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. I just made a video on, our energy being a currency. It is. So where you place your energy and attention, you are investing money. And when I say money, I mean energy, because I feel like energy is just literally another version of money. Invest in yourself education-wise, and this does not always have to be school, but just literally doing research on your project that you are interested in, doing research on this thing you're interested in learning about, applying for that, heading to this program, whatever the case may be. Educate yourself. And it does not have to be in a boring sense in stuff that you're not interested in. This could actually be a great opportunity for you to get to know yourself more and know what you really like. You know, what do you want to educate yourself on? So invest in yourself education wise, health wise, expression wise, creativity wise. Like, there's so many different ways to invest in yourself, but really choose something that will aid you in conquering in this journey of becoming the best version of yourself. And you can do this in the divide part of our check-in. So detach, like we talked about, divide, which is choosing certain aspects. So in that choosing certain aspects, you could look into the investing in yourself part and really know which parts you really want to focus in on, because there are so many different parts to life and parts to ourselves. And when we're really focusing in on certain aspects, it helps us to grow that much more because we're giving more attention to certain areas, so they blossom. Okay, the next thing when it comes to conquering is to hype yourself up on the daily. I don't care if you're having an off day, a bad day, this went wrong, that went wrong. Still continue to hype yourself up, even on the good days where everything feels good. Yes, continue to hype yourself up. Continue to pray, continue to manifest, continue to really bask in those good feeling emotions of gratitude and love, and just continue to hype yourself up even on the days you don't feel your best. The other day I wasn't feeling the best, but I still took the time to hype myself up. You're doing amazing. Keep going. I read a book that lifted me up. I listened to a podcast that calmed me down. Like, hype yourself up on the daily, whatever that looks like for you. That could be affirming. That could be listening to a song that just motivates you. That could be listening to a creator that inspires you. Hype yourself up on the daily. And now going into the last part of conquering, it is to keep going. Keep going. Do not allow an off day, do not allow an off moment, an off situation, whatever the case may be, stop you from where you are and where you are heading. Because your future self is counting on you to keep going through the challenges. Alchemize them, invest in yourself, own who you are, even in the spaces where you feel drastically different. All of these things collectively put together, allow yourself to keep going, even in the moments where it doesn't feel absolutely exquisite. Greatness is around the corner, okay? Keep going. This is a message from yourself to yourself. It's not just me telling you this. The fact that you found this video is literally yourself telling yourself to keep going. You've got this, okay? You got this. It's all going to work out. Another thing, there were fires here in LA around a week ago, I would say it has been now, and there's been a lot of rebuilding and just getting things back to what they were. And today, it's literally pouring outside, like pouring rain I have not seen in LA for a long time. So I feel like that was kind of like a sign, like, just keep going because you will be provided for. Like, there were fires, we need rain, you know, we're in this dry atmosphere, rain is here. Like, things will come your direction. You will be provided for. Keep going, keep your faith strong. You've got this. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember that you are completely capable of becoming the authentic, best version of yourself, and that everything is always working out for you, no matter what it seems like at any given point in time. I will see you guys in the next video.